Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. I thought I might do a picking video. I've come across a new cylinder which I haven't seen in years. It's this one right here, which is a Lockwood V7. I'll see if I can let that focus for you. Okay. So this is what we call a 530 because it has the two parts on the back here which do the operation. The actual shape of the housing here you might see is a lot larger, and the reason that is because you've got two stack heights, well two lots of pins in there, one on this angle and one on this angle, very similar to a V8 car motor. This one here is MLV, and it's got some numbers here which the locksmith has stamped to be able to identify where it goes. Now these are quite pickable, there's no problems there. My bench is a complete mess, but I'm going to squeeze just a little bit of spot, like 2 inches or 6 inches, just enough to gut it for you and show you what's actually in this lock and how it kind of ticks. Yeah, so alright, well let's go through and let's just pick it. So I'll just put it in the vise. I don't have one of those fancy vices that holds the cylinder real well. I've only got this one, and the tension tool I'm using is just a bit of, one that I never use anywhere else, just a little bit of rubbish. But I found it was pretty good and goes in. My standard tension tool, which I'm more familiar with, that one didn't seem to actually work, wouldn't fit in. So let's see how long this will take for us to pick it. Now back in the olden days, this is quite an old system, but back in the olden days this was quite a good little system. Okay, well we're done. I know what you're thinking, that was pretty anticlimactic, and that's what I was thinking too. So let's push all this out of the way. Let's pull up a little bit of bench space here. Okay, there we go. That's about as much as we'll probably need. Put the camera about there. Alright, we're going to need a flat blade. Let's have a look and see what's in this bad boy. Now it does take a standard follower, so it shouldn't be too big of an ask to pull it open and see what's inside of it. So I just got to get this circlip off without resetting the pins. See if I can catch in the bottom of the chamber there. Come on, circlip, come on. Oh, almost. I'm using this little tiny screwdriver, not because it's the best tool, but because I find it most challenging, and also it was the first one that I found. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look and see how we go. Push that down there, push that down there. Okay, so there we have it. Let's put it in the center there. Okay, so we have 3 on one side and 4 on the other side, and from what I can see here, all the chambers are loaded. So I haven't done a lot with this type of system, but from what I believe, it is standard pins. So standard pins should be able to fit in there quite nicely. I have a couple here so we can test that out. Do they fit? Yeah, they fit. So standard lab pins. All right, let's go through and show you. Okay, we had a master there. Other side, we had like a 1. Come on out. 1 and a master. Okay, so this is a really high combination. No wonder it was such a breeze to pick. Okay, and that one there. Okay, so that was the pins. So if I was to roughly gauge them, what do we got there? We got a 3, we got a 2, we got a 0, we got a 1, we got a 1, and a 1, and that one had a master, that one had a master. So by having more chambers, I guess it will give you more combinations to be able to make more possible combinations for your master key system. So that's pretty cool. The actual plug itself, finding a key to actually go in there is going to be a bit of an issue, because there is actually a center little bit right there. I'll zoom in so you can see. I just got to get it on camera, and we just have to wait for autofocus to do its thing. Come on, focus, focus. Back up, back up, back up. Okay, focus up. There we go. So you can kind of see it there. You can see the grooving of the actual brooch, which is reasonable. And then you've got that little tiny bit right in the middle, if you can see that. So making a key means that not only would you have to get through all these grooves, you'd actually have to divide at the top of the brooch. So that would be a little bit more tricky. And getting them, the most likely restricted product, so that isn't going to happen. Right, let's see if I can actually take you through as I pull this apart, and if I can get you in focus, because there's nothing worse than being out of focus. Alright, let's go. What do we got here? Okay, so we have a good driver pin. That's 1. On the other side now, we have a master pin and a driver pin. We'll get that out of there. We have a master pin and a driver pin, another master pin, a driver pin. So that's what we're getting out of it so far, and those ones too. Okay, so we'll clear now. Oh, one left. There we go, that's a bad boy down the back. So the actual building of this particular cylinder isn't really that complicated. I can see that they're using short springs. I can see we're using master pins. The drivers too are quite small, so perhaps they would have to calculate their stack height, which you would have to do in most 530 cylinder housings, because they do have a very small chamber at the top. So there's nothing really new there. I think the only new bit about it is the design, and the design is actually reasonably old. I think this goes back 25 years plus. And as far as picking, well, it didn't give much resistance at all for picking, and that was because of these master pins. So the more possible combinations a lock has, the easier it's going to be to actually manipulate, because it's got more possible shear lines, and all we had to do there was just find that one. So that's the Lockwood V7. Leave your comments down below. I'm going to put it all back together now and throw it in a bag for somebody else to pick. We do sell off our old lock cylinders. Just go to our website, go to drlock.com.au, lock shop, and then click on clearance, and we just bag them up, and it's like $15. We'll give you a bag of cylinders to pick your heart out if you're into lock sport and you like picking. And this one, once again, I'm just going to repin it up to anything so it's functioning, and then somebody else can have that joy and that fun. Okay, thanks for watching.